This is DJ Bowlcut, and welcome to 서울커뮤니티라디오 New Music Monthly October 2021 edition. Boo, 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 boo. We're gonna talk about new music that comes out of Korea. Is it right?
Yeah.
Comes out of Korea and also comes out from our friends all around the world. Stay tuned, and we're gonna take you to the journey to the wonderful sound. Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. We have a special guest here right now. Can you introduce yourself to our audience today?
So, hey, I'm ROMderful. I'm from Birmingham, UK, so that's like a little bit north of London. I'm 25. I moved to Korea in January 2021 just because, I love the vibe here. I love the music. I love my friends and the people, the food. I just felt like a different change in life. So I was like, let me move to Korea and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I am, as most people know me, who alcohol with me, I'm a very spontaneous person. I like to just take risks and just do things, try things, see if it works out, see if it fails. And personally, I think it's a fun way of living life. So that's the kind of person that I am.
That's a cool attitude, like just do things.
Mm.
It sounds like Joker, but all right. So we never done this podcast in English before because I always intimate with my English skill because I made a lot of like some weird sentences. But bear in mind, if I make any mistake, please think me as like a cute person, maybe.
Your English is amazing, man. It's good.
No,
it's
it's
amazing.
like sometimes I know I'm making a weird sentences, but I don't know.
Mm.
Anyway, so let's get into this. So New Music Monthly, here we go. First, we're gonna check new music from SUMIN and Slom. They just released a new music video called 곤란한 노래, 곤란 song. 곤란 means something like when you're in a like kind of awkward situation, then you don't know what to do. This is what in Korean we says 곤란하다.
곤란하다.
Yeah,
Mm.
곤란하다. So for example, like let's say you're in a triangle relationship. Let's say.
Yeah.
And then these two girls find out, you are dating both of them at the same time. Then this is a situation where we call it so 곤란한 situation.
진짜 안 좋아.
진짜 안 좋아. 예. So we are gonna listen to this and let's check it out. So also you can see here. By the way, assuming just swallow the
평소보다 조금 더 눈썹을 올려 그리고 예습실에 눈뜨는 연습하고 밖에 나가 어제 테크노 클래스 먹던 게 맞다가 오늘은 합정동에서 좀 불량한 춤추고 싶어 너랑 내가 춤을 잘 추지 못해도 너를 혼란스럽게 할 수 있을 것 같아 내가 춤을 잘 추지 못해도 아주 곤란하게 만들 수 있을 것 같아 아주 곤란하게 만들 수 있을 것 같아 내가 연습한 표정 연습한 춤 연습한 말 모든 걸 다 오늘 다 해보려고 모든 카드 꺼내보려고 껴졌다 꺼졌다 반복을 하는 조명에 껴졌다 꺼졌다 반복을 하는 네 얼굴에 웃어 내가 춤을 잘 추지 못해도 너를 혼란스럽게 할 수 있을 것 같아 내가 춤을 잘 추지 못해도 아주 곤란하게 만들 수 있을 것 같아
Yeah, there was a fancy music video. So Sumin is really well known for making top line for the K-pop musics. So
Mm.
top line, which is we usually call it just top line, but top line means melodies for singing. So she's making all these like fancy top lines for their K-pop artists, like even someone like BTS or someone from like SM Entertainment. All these people you probably know. Anyway, so have you ever met these people before?
So Slum, I do know. Obviously, I have been to LA countless amounts of times at this point.
Yeah.
Slum, I know used to go to. I'm not sure if it was UCLA or one of the
Oh,
LA
he's from
universities.
America.
I'm not sure if he's from America or if he's from Korea, but I have met him in LA countless amounts of times.
Ah, okay.
But like the very first time I met Slum was actually in Korea. The very first time I came to Seoul in 2016. I actually met Slum and his mom and dad at their apartment the very first time I came to Korea, and his mom cooked like 8 different meals for me, and I remember telling his mom I was super full. And his mom just kept on cooking loads and loads of meals for me, and she asked me questions about my life and my education, stuff like that. And that Slum telling him that like I'm a producer. At the time, I was like really new to Soul Action. I had just signed to Soul Action at the time. And then after like we had finished eating, and Slum's mom was like, "No, you gotta keep on eating. You gotta try this. You gotta try that. You gotta try that."
That's a typical Asian mom thing. Yeah, just
I'll-
feed you a lot.
That I actually felt a lot of love from his parents and from him in general, and also like the fact that your family took me in like the very first time I came to Korea, and I didn't really know
Yeah.
anybody. That
Oh.
was a lot of love. I didn't have any friends in Korea at that point. It was my first time here.
Oh, okay.
Like,
So
yeah.
from that experience, you start to have connections in Korea, then, right?
So my very first time in Korea, it was actually like Dean's team that brought me out. So like Dean, Milik. At the time there was Off and Off, which was like cold, and like I know there was Rad Museum and like Miso and like a bunch of those people. There was and Crush. They was all part of a collective, and then they all kind of like split and did their own thing.
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah.
But like it was them that brought me to Korea for the first time. But during that time, me and Slum already knew each other because of SoundCloud.
Ah.
So like the SoundCloud community was booming at that point. And
Was it
yeah,
2016 or somewhere like that?
like
right?
15, 16.
15,
It
16,
was one
yeah.
of those years.
SoundCloud
Yeah.
gold era. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like after meeting Slum, and then like me, Slum, and his dad like taking like family photos and like posting them like in his living room in Korea. I was like, oh damn, like I'm really out here now. I can have a family photo in Korea. That's my first time here. And yeah, it was a good time. But like yeah, it was like Dean and like that original. I think they were called Club Eskimo at the time.
Ah, yeah, Eskimo.
Yeah.
Eskimo Sound, I think.
Eskimo Sound Club.
And Millie
Eskimo.
was a big there because I
Yeah.
knew him for like a while because he used to I knew him when he used to be a student back in the days, and then he asked me some questions of how to make music and stuff. But I probably think that he already know more than I do, so I didn't give him any answers. I couldn't give him any answers, so I was like, just do your best, and then later she's like,
I think it was Milik that initially emailed me because like then he was emailing me. Then I came to Korea. I didn't know any Korean people. Didn't know anything about Korea at
Yeah.
all. And then Milik's like, okay, we're going to play a show in Seoul, and then we're gonna go to Tokyo. And then like me,
Oh.
Milik, Off and Off, we all went to Tokyo together. And we played a show like in Shibuya in Tokyo, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, hey, welcome to Asia." And at this point, I had never tried sushi before.
Oh, really?
I had
Okay.
never ever tried sushi before, and then Milik was like, "Okay, we're not leaving here till you try sushi." So we went to this sushi restaurant, and like everybody was eating sushi apart from me, and I couldn't really use chopsticks at the time. I was like 18 or something like that. and I
Oh,
was-
okay.
yeah, I was like, "Okay, cool, I've got." to
What
learn to
about
use
now? How's your chopstick skill?
Masterful,
Oh,
Master-
okay.
masterful, chincha.
Can you catch flies with your?
I can catch M&Ms with chopsticks.
Okay.
And they're pretty.
I can't do it, so
yeah,
you can do
they're
it, yeah.
pretty small. So
Okay,
like,
okay.
I'm-
That's a good. Yeah, that's a big thing. Yeah.
yes, I'm
I
pretty proud
I
of my
can't
chopstick skills.
I can't grab it with my chopstick. So yeah,
It took
you're
me a
better than
while,
I do, man. Oh.
It took me a while though, because that was like 2015, 16. So 2021, that's a decent 5 years.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it was a long time.
All right. Yeah, there was a story with ROMderful and Slom, and I hope you two have a more like fun events with SUMIN as well in future.
Mm.
And we are going to listen to another track from my friends Akito. That he just released a new album. Akito is producer based in UK, but he's a half Japanese, so he probably moved to Japan in this year. So no, next year.
Mm.
So and he's a producer of UK funky style music, which is really nice. And he made a joint album with a guy named Noire. So let's check it out.
Cool.
Yeah, that was Akito and Noire's new track. This is a track from album called Reaper, and this track name is called Swirl Thru. Yeah, so please check it out. Akito is a good friend of mine. I remember when main guy from Charlotte Fate, Kiran, came to Korea. We all went to just sightseeing around Seoul. It was really fun. And, I miss you, buddy. But I know you're coming to stay in Japan for next year. So I hope to see you again, man, soon. And you just tell me about this type of music reminds you of your like ninth grade, right?
Yeah. I'd like so I think the cool thing for me, like this is another fact that I'm gonna go into, but like just because I was born in 1996, so like I remember every school year because every school year, like 2008 for example, I was in 8th grade, 2009 I was in 9th grade, 2010 I was in 10th grade. So for that reason, it's easy for me to remember the school grades. But like hearing that reminds me of like finishing school in ninth grade, sitting at the back of the bus on the top deck. I've got like my Sony Walkman phone. And
Cool.
like no earbuds. I'm just blasting it out of the speaker of the phone, sitting at the back of the bus with your friends eating Doritos, listening to like listening to like some like grime UK edits, like back when YouTube wasn't popular and people were still using MySpace and things like that.
Oh,
Like,
good old MySpace, yeah.
yeah, it takes you back to that kind of era. Like it kind of really reminded me of that actually, and it's quite fire.
Who was the biggest producer at the time then? About this type of music.
I don't know. There was so
Wiley?
many because like so for example, like, a lot of people don't know, but there was this TV network. It was kind of like MTV in the UK. It was called Channel U,
Oh, I've never heard of it. Actually,
which then rebranded to Channel AKA in like the 2010s. But in the early 2000s, it was known as Channel U. Everybody from the UK will know what Channel U is. And they had
Oh.
all of the underground grime artists on there. They had all of the underground UK hip hop artists, underground UK like anybody underground UK R&B, grime, trap, whatever before they became like mainstream was on this channel.
Oh, I never knew.
And this TV network was streamed on 24 hours a day, like every single day there'd be new stuff on there. And they used to have like a texting platform, so you used to be able to like text in notes. It'd come up on the bottom of the screen on TV.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
It was that kind of TV network. And like this kind of beat was something that you would find on there, with like one of those like underground UK unique artists. It kind of reminds me of that era. I feel like that's when UK music was becoming to be something that would eventually become to be like world renowned as it is now. But like that's when it was getting to that point before it became like super kind of commercial. But it was like more fun. Everyone was just doing what they wanted to do. People were shooting videos and like the quality of some of the videos are really bad, man. Like it seemed like some of those videos were shot.
I'll
on,
check
like,
it out actually. Yeah, I'm really tempted to.
But honestly, it's a staple of UK history. Like if you
Mm.
just search Channel U on UK, Channel U videos, Channel U songs, you will find a whole archive of like UK history in terms of music.
So
Yeah.
is that way before than SBTV, right? Like
Yeah, we're talking like 2004 to 2007 here.
oh, okay,
Like,
that's
like,
way
so
longer.
we're talking like really old, like
Really old
2004
one,
to
yeah,
maybe
okay.
to maybe 2010 actually, but 2004 to 2010 in that time period, it's like really
Mm.
old. Like it was during the time like Dizzy Rascal dropped like Boy in the Corner.
At the time. Okay, okay.
Like that time, because I remember like Just a Rascal, like that video was on Channel U in 2003 or something
Ah.
like that. So like we're talking that old. Like it's a really old channel.
Okay.
But like they had so much fire on there. Honestly, there was so many artists that never made it mainstream, but some of their
Mm.
songs were insane. And
I
the-
gotta
the-
check it out.
yeah.
Maybe someone made a whole archive on YouTube. Maybe.
I would definitely.
Yeah.
If not on YouTube, on the internet in general, there will be a massive archive of Channel U. Because Channel U is historic.
Channel U. Yeah.
It's a massive historical platform for the whole UK. You ask anybody from the UK, honestly, they know what Channel U is.
All right.
Yeah.
Valuable information from ROMderful. Yeah. All right. Let's check Kirara's music. Kirara will release new album in December, and now Kirara just releasing remix albums or some of single cuts, and we can listen to one of his track. It's more like 8-bit ish thing, but you may like it. So yeah, let's check it out. This track is called "Pulling Off the Star." Yeah, that was Kirara's track. It was a very how I say, it's a very bright and it is simple, but also very effective. I think it's very funky track. Yeah,
That
yeah,
that track was like just straight rainbows, like just like just like straight sunshine and rainbow explosions and like all the colors in the world. Like
yeah.
honestly, like for the people out there who have played like a bunch of like Japanese games or especially Konami games,
Yeah, he
you
just referred that. Yeah,
you might know a game called Katamari Damacy. I'm not sure if I pronounced that entirely correctly,
maybe
but
right.
like Damacy Damaki. But either way, like that video game, if even in the Katamari game with like the big rolling ball and a bunch of trash, like the soundtrack to that game is insane. And this soundtrack, if that game was to ever be like revived in the new form, I could imagine this as being one of the the main
Wow.
tracks of the soundtrack of that video game. Like honestly, Kiara, you killed that.
Yeah.
You killed that. This
Mm.
track is amazing.
So Kirara's new album is coming out soon in November. So please check it out. And then Kirara released two different a single cut album with a bunch of remixes. Actually, Kirara asked me to do a remix, but this time I couldn't do it, so I just don't have enough time. So yeah, I'm sorry for that, but I hope you to make more funky sounds like this in future.
Shout out Kirara. 'Cause, like
Yeah.
honestly, like as soon as this heard, like my head the whole time was just like, I was like, what is
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Like it literally, it makes me feel like a sunflower. Like if I
Sunflower.
was to be any flower, listening to this song, I would be a sunflower. So thank you for making me feel like a sunflower. You are
Oh.
amazing.
Okay, next we're gonna listen to SYO's remix track. Yeah, this track is from Ricardo Tobar. Is a guy from Chile. He's making a bunch of like ravey tracks, and my friend SYO made a remix on track called La Femme au Masque, girl with mask. SYO is actually my friend S.O.N.S, but it's a different alias. That SYO is alias for progressive house. So let's check it out. Yeah, that was SYO's remix of Ricardo Tobar from Chile. So that was a nice track, and this is really nice progressive house track that reminds me of early 2000, which I really like. And shout out to my friend S.O.N.S, who's running a record store in Shindangdong. Junction Record. If you haven't been there, you have to go because this is a really nice place, and every time I go there, I found some gems, and the knowledge of my friend S.O.N.S, or AKA SYO this time, his knowledge about like dance music is like just beyond. One time I found like really rare records on Discogs, and then I asked him about I found one record in Discogs and which is really nice, but I haven't got it yet. Do you know any background information? And then suddenly just he gave me a physical copy. Oh, you mean this? Yeah, I can sell you with like 10,000 won. What? Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. Anyway, so all right, so we listened to most of my choices from this new music monthly selections, but also there are more tracks and albums which released on this month, and I made a whole list on our SCR website, so please check it out. And now I think it's time to discuss about my special guest's new album. Are you ready?
Of course, of course, of
Okay,
course.
so yeah. So I know you're making a lot of albums, and I know you're making a lot of tracks and a lot of remixes, and making beats to a lot of crazy rappers and producers, and but I can't imagine on the top of it you're making your own album at the same time. So I really want to ask you how much Like how many time you spend on productions on each day?
Um, everything, every hour, every day. Like as soon as I wake up, like, and my girlfriend, a lot of people can vouch me for this. Like, I will literally wake up at 7 a.m. and start checking mixes of songs, and I will start checking like who I've got to send things to, cause people who are in different time zones, and all the artists I'm producing for, like in America, in Asia, in Europe, in the UK, like wherever. Um, I'll speak to my manager about this today, actually, but just kind of like, I'm so kind of like, in a sense, I don't want to say privileged because, I had to work really hard to get to where I got to. But I don't want to say privileged, but in a sense, I kind of feel privileged that I get to live the life and do the things I want to do because of the songs I've made,
Mm-hmm.
because of the productions I've given to people that, that's kind of given me a bit of notability. I'm able to, like, I can pay all my bills. I can have a nice apartment. I can move to a different country. I can do all the things I want to do because I make beats on
Yeah.
FL Studio. Like, that one thing has given me income, and it's given me comfortability in life. It's given me happiness, and because of that, like, that can go away at any point. Everybody knows how, if you are in the music, you know how unpredictable income can be when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are a
exactly.
musician. So for me, it makes me, in a sense, I guess sometimes overwork. Like, I, I don't really set a standard for myself, but for a lot of the time, I can be making like anywhere between like 6 to 15 songs a day. 6 to 15
Whoa,
songs, or even beats. Sorry,
it's
like,
crazy.
so songs or beats, because like sometimes I do vocals. As most people know, I have started singing recently in the past year or two. But like, that can be anywhere between 6 to 15 songs or beats a day, just because I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't want to take for granted what I have, and I don't want to take for granted what I've achieved, and I want to keep on making sure that I'm always working as hard as I can. So
Wow.
I'm just always making music. Especially moving to Korea, I'm always so inspired and I have so many ideas. I just go.
Hmm.
I don't really think about it. I just go. I just open FL Studio. My mind's completely blank. I'm not thinking about what I'm trying to achieve or what I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to make. I just start creating, and then I keep creating until I feel like I can't create anymore.
Oh wow,
And that's just what I do.
that's crazy. Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. And also I trying to ask you something. Actually, that was a really nice dialogue you just
Mm.
made. Yeah. So you just mentioned about your singing here. So this album contains your a lot of voice, right?
I'd say 90% of this album has my voice. So
Cool.
every single song on the album I've produced, every single one. But like, compared to my last album, what's my last album called?
Um,
Press L to
press L
continue.
to continue. Yeah, yeah.
Press L to continue. I only sung on like 4 songs out of that whole album. This song I'm singing on every single track. Like,
Mm.
even if I'm not like the main verse or the main hook or something, I am somewhere vocally present on every single track. But for the most part, I am vocally present always on a verse or a hook on every single song on this album. But I produced every single song on the album, and the production went way more intense on my last album. The singing and songwriting was way more detailed and way more confident. Because I feel like the vocals on my last album from me were kind of weak and unconfident because I wasn't
Mm.
confident with my vocals at the time. I just
Mm.
started doing it. I was kind of like, I'm not sure if I should do this or not. But this album, I just kind of, I stacked, man. Even my engineer was like, posting tweets and talk to me, saying like, oh, like this is a ROMderful project file, and like posting like 300 tracks and
Wow.
on the on like the session view, because like every single time I'd send him stems, there would be like 200 stems. There'd be like 100
Send me the
vocal
tweet later
stems.
so I can just post it on here.
Yeah,
later
but
when I
but like, if seeing the screenshots of some of the session files from my album, like they were stacked because I was doing like so many vocal layers, so many harmonies, so many different like instrument layers, because I played all the instruments on the album.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time that usually I would only put guitar and bass and then program the rest of it, but for this album, like,
Mm.
everything was quite live. Like, I played drums on this album, I played guitar, bass, I played keys on
Did you
this
bring your
album.
drum here?
No, so I recorded like drums in different places. So I'd be recording
okay.
drums in like UK Birmingham, UK London, UK Amsterdam, Paris, LA.
UK Amsterdam.
No, Europe, Amsterdam, Europe, Paris, LA, New York, like wherever I had the chance to get a drum kit, I was recording like little drum loops and just like cutting them up and then like programming drums over them. So like this album, I was way more in tune with my instruments and my musicality than the last album.
Mm.
And that took a lot of time, which is why I spent like a year and a half on this album. Whereas my last album, for a lot of people that don't know, it wasn't really like a from nothing to finish kind of process. It was more of like, I already have a bunch of songs, and let's just put a bunch of things together in order that makes sense.
Okay.
Because I was signed to Sony, and they just wanted to make things kind of like like what's gonna sell, what's gonna pop, what's going to be the most profitable, what's going to make a good album. So when I was making the album, like, Press Out to Continue, it wasn't really like a start to finish kind of process where it was like, oh, I started this way and I want to end it this way. I want to make the whole album this way. It was more like I showed them a bunch of songs. They were like, oh, these 3 songs are hits. And then I just kind of filled in the rest with random songs.
I
Yeah.
hate that shit, man.
Yeah, I just filled in the rest with random songs that I had. And I feel like if you listen to my last album and this album, you can hear the difference in terms of the fact that like, that I put in time and effort into trying to make something that was like a cohesive story.
Yeah.
Something that was like a start to finish kind of like progressive kind of nature. This album sounds way more like me than my last album did. Because I didn't have anybody telling me, you have to do this, you have to do that, it has to be a hit, blah, blah, blah. There might be songs in this album that's a hit, but realistically, there might not be any songs on this album that's a hit, but it feels good to me.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
yeah.
So okay, I thought wait. I thought about your last album, and then I know there are some there are some storylines between in between each different tracks, and then what about this album? What was the main storylines between each tracks here?
So my last album was
I mean this album.
so this album was, in a sense, kind of inspired by my last relationship. I did start making this album like end of 2018. So like this album's like really really old, but like we got to be honest here. But like the album was like kind of semi inspired when I started it at the time, but it just grew into something else.
Yeah.
But it was semi inspired by that and semi inspired by like Rick and Morty and Spy Kids 3.
That's quite random.
So for everybody that knows me, they know that I'm really into like video games and like technology, old technology, that kind of vibe.
That's why I call him my man.
Yeah, my guy,
Yeah.
my guy.
I was so lonely in Korea that I feel like I'm the only one who know this like geeky stuff. And then when I met him, like,
this guy came to me and talked to me about Michael MJD, and like, I know nobody knows that guy. This guy just constantly reports on like Windows XP, Windows 2000, old iPhones, iPods, and just random things like that. Installing Windows 2000 on a Nintendo Wii, like just random videos like that. And this is the first guy that I knew that channel.
I found
So,
a way to
yeah.
hack Mac OS onto a Commodore 64 computer. I'll let you know later.
Let me know. I need
It's
to know
amazing.
about
It's
that.
amazing. So anyway, so
But-
yeah, back to album story again. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I completely forgot what my point was. I completely forgot what my point
Okay,
was.
my question was tell us more about the storyline between each different tracks in this album.
Oh, so this album.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so this album was kind of inspired by, like I said, like Spy Kids 3, and just like there's an episode of Rick and Morty where Rick and Morty go into like this alien planet, obviously as always, and like they get caught into a simulation which they think is real life, but they end up in a simulation of a simulation of a simulation, and they don't
Oh,
know.
there's a drug talk here.
Yeah, and like they don't know what's real, and then if you go back to Spy Kids 3, for the people who have watched Spy Kids 3, there was a part of the story where like the main character, like Junie, he falls in love with a girl from the video game that he goes into, but the girl was never real. So the whole time he's always like, "Oh, I'm in love with this girl, like she's my girlfriend, blah blah blah." But then when Junie meets his sister later in the game, his sister's like, "Yo, this girl isn't real. Like she was never real. Like you've been fooled the whole time. Like whatever you've been feeling isn't real. Like you were just infatuated by the moment, kind of thing." And I kind of wanted to make an album that was like that. So like my album kind of starts out very like, oh, this is cool. I've met this girl. I'm happy. I'm in love. Everything's cool. But then it kind of starts to go downhill, like towards the middle of the album. But then towards the end of the album, it's kind of like, it's your choice. Like, what do you want to do? Are you happy with this? Do you want to end it here? Do you want to carry on? Do you want to forget that it ever happened? Do you want to just ignore it? It's kind of like your choice and how you think the album ends.
Oh,
But
that's deep, man.
but like that was kind of like how my last relationship felt.
Ah,
It felt very much like that in terms of like it felt good at the start, but it got to a point where it's like I don't even know if this is real anymore. Like it doesn't even I don't even know if like we actually are in this. I don't know if we're actually in love. And then there was a song that like I mentioned a line that said but then you told me at the end that you just wanted to be friends. Which, at the end of my last relationship, like, she was just like, I wasn't really in love with you for a couple of months, blah, blah, blah. And then, like,
I didn't know about this, but
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like, the thing is in me, I'm going to be very honest about my experiences. I have nothing to hide. But, like, that happened, and it was kind of like, So, like, that kind of got me into a mindset of, like, that kind of sucks, and that kind of hurts a little bit. But at the same time, that inspired me to make this album. Because that reminded me, like, as soon as it ended, and I know it sounds really strange, but it reminded me of Spy Kids 3 because of that situation where, like, Julian met this girl and everything was all good and everything felt fine, everything was fine for the whole movie until he found out that she wasn't real and nothing they ever experienced was ever real. And it kind of felt a little bit like that. And, I've always, for everybody that knows me, I've always been very into, like, movies, cartoons, TV, film, and stuff like that. I feel like I wanted to make my own soundtrack to that situation. And I feel like this album is the soundtrack to that situation.
Yo, okay.
Yeah.
Let's hear your tracks. Then, okay, can you pick one of just any songs that you can show us to us from your new album? There are a bunch of your new tracks here. What should we play?
Let's pick. Let's pick Try Again.
We're gonna play at least like 2 or 3 tracks here.
2 or 3 tracks.
Yeah, because it's your special today.
Okay. Let's start with We.
We okay. Let's go.
She said, babe, close your eyes. I got a surprise. She took my hands and led me to her room. Then she said, close the door. Then she said, tonight I'm all yours. Then she pulled out a GameCube and the Wii just for me. Yeah.
I was like.
She said to me, get comfortable. you got me tripping. Pleasure without guilty, so easy to so risky. Cause I'm the comedy, never thought we matched like polka dots moonbeams. It's crazy out there, but baby, you know I got you. See now we get it together, we find control. What a journey. Who are you with me? Let's kick it and run to the edge of the world.
Oh my, you're so fine to me. Let's take a walk to the other side, and you'll see. Oh my, you're so fine.
All right. We heard 2 tracks now. First track was We and 8 tracks. Oh my, featuring Matt Martians from the Internet and the other guy.
Joanne Baba. I think they're Chinese. Like she's Taiwanese, sorry.
Okay.
And I think those are the numbers and the characters from.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Taiwanese,
When it
so
comes to like changing their name into the numbers, it's
yeah. So she goes by Joanne Baba.
Joanne Baba. Okay, yeah, shout out to them. And yeah, it's amazing that you working with the internet and Matt Martian actually help you to make albums. And then that was amazing, man. Yeah.
So Matt Martians. It was a really random how this came about, but like one day, like after I finished my first album, Press Out to Continue, I remember like obviously everybody knows the Ego Death from the Internet, and that was being one of the most iconic albums of like 2015-16.
Yeah.
And then they did Hive Mind in 2018, and like one day before I released my first album, I just tweeted the Internet saying like, I really hope I can be friends with these guys after I finish my first album. I think they'll
That's
like
how
it.
it is. Wow, crazy.
And then one day they just tweeted me back, and then they followed me on Twitter.
Whoa.
Then I was like, oh, I was like,
Okay.
like I just tweet at random people because I don't expect them to respond. That I tweet at you because I have a high expectation that you will never see this. So
Like troll, but they actually answered you.
yeah.
Wow.
So to me, it was just kind of like, oh, they're never gonna see this. It's okay. I'm just gonna tweet it anyway. Just for like just because they're never gonna see it. It's okay. I'm just being me.
Sounds like a prayer, you know.
And
you're
then
just like
they followed me back, and then at
Wow.
the time I was doing like these clone videos that a lot of people know me for from Ice Cream Clones, like my last EP. And they've retweeted every video, like every single song that I did from that EP. They retweeted all of them, and they
Yeah.
all blew up massively on Twitter. And
Yeah.
that was the reason I got verified on Twitter.
Oh,
Because-
wow.
Because a lot of people know it's really difficult to get verified on Twitter. It's really
Mm.
difficult to get verified on Instagram even. Those videos are what got me verified, and I would say 90% of the reason was because of the Internet.
Oh.
And then at the time, like about maybe a week or two after my 4th clone video, like the Internet DM'd me on Twitter, and I was like, okay. Like they were complimenting me. They were saying, congrats on your videos. Like,
Cool.
your music's fire. We love you. Blah blah blah. And I was like, yo, thank you so much. Like, I'm literally crying right now, which I was, because the Internet's one of my biggest inspirations.
Yep.
Odd Future, all of those are my biggest inspirations. And I was like, just to not be rude, who from the Internet am I speaking to? Because because there were like 5 of them or 6 of them. So I was like, who am I speaking to right now? I don't know which one of you I'm speaking to. And then Matt was like, oh, it's Matt Martians. And to me, because I'd watched Matt Martians videos on Mass Appeal on YouTube, just seeing Matt Martians from the Super 3, and like Matt Martians was the main person that inspired Tyler the Creator to become a producer and all these
Yeah.
kind of things. Like when I first discovered Matt Martians during like the Goblin era of Tyler the Creator, Matt Martians has become one of my favorite producers since I was like 17 or something like that. So for him to be messaging me, telling me
It's
like,
a big
"Yo,
thing,
you're
yeah.
fucking insane," I was losing my mind, man. I was going
Mm.
fucking crazy. And then Matt Martians was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be in London soon. Let's meet up." And I remember like being on the way to his hotel in London, and I was literally like just shivering on the way, like, I'm about to meet Matt Martians, man. Like this guy's telling me he likes my music, blah 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 blah. We hang out for the whole day. We just talk about random things. We go and have sushi. We walk around London. We play each other music, and I'm like, this guy's really just being a friend to me. Like I'm not even he's not asking me for anything. I'm not asking him for anything. I'm not asking him to collab with me or anything like that. I'm just enjoying his time, like him being
That's
present.
really good thing, you know.
And
like,
from that moment, he just started to give me loads of tips, like you
oh.
know, like I would always like text him or FaceTime him, like I'm nervous, I'm overthinking this, I'm making my second album, I don't know how to feel about it, I don't know how to feel about my musicality, I don't really know what to do next because I just released my first album, I was with Sony, then I left Sony. And then I'm like, okay, I'm kind of in this point in my career where like I feel like I'm doing good, but I'm not entirely sure what to do next. And I feel like he was like that kind of voice that helped me to progress. He was the kind of like
Oh.
there were parts where I was like, I don't know if I should sing. I don't know if I should use my vocals. I don't know if I should write. I don't know if I should just make beats. And he was kind of like, you should do it. Try it. Like you're really good at it. Like he was giving me confidence to do it. There would be points where I wasn't confident about my beats and I wasn't sure if my beats were in a good place. And he'd be giving me a lot of confidence and reassurance, telling me that everything's okay. And just give me like big confidence boosts and like telling me like everything's gonna be fine. And just consider these kind of things and where they were when they started, like the internet, Tyler the Creator, like all of those kind of people. And just generally give him a lot of belief in me that I could do anything I wanted to do. And before him, I didn't really have that. I would just randomly make music all the time, and for no reason, I would just post it on the internet or whatever. But he was the first person that was like, "You can do something amazing with this. I think you're actually amazing. I think you could do something." He was the first person to give me that belief, and to get somebody like him to be the first person to tell me that, it was a huge thing to me.
Yeah.
Because before then, all I ever had was, Soulection, SoundCloud, which, I did get a lot of love from. But, like, that was just me making remixes and edits and beats or whatever. But Matt Martians was the first person to give me love for me just being me. Like, me just making my own music, me making my own songs, me singing.
That's very impressive. It means that he's your mentor, really. You mentioned it before, but yeah, to have a mentor like that is very important, I think, because when you're a musician, you often lost yourself. You don't know what you're actually doing. And
Definitely, yeah.
man, it's really lucky. I can tell.
Yeah, he gave me the most insight that I could possibly ever want in this music career. Like every question that I felt like I need answered, like he wouldn't even answer them for me a lot of the times. He would leave me to kind of discover when I needed to answer it for myself.
Sounds like he's a Zen master or something.
He really was. He look, whenever if there was something that he could answer, he would answer it for me. But he knew the things that I needed to wait and answer for myself.
Yeah, that's a Zen master.
And then he would be like, just wait. Just release your album, or release your songs you produce for other people, or just progress on your music career. You're doing good. Like everything you're doing is good. Just wait. Don't rush things before they're meant to happen. Just stuff like that. He would give me like a bunch of useful advice. He wouldn't tell me what to do, but he would tell me if I'm in the right path.
Oh, amazing.
And that was really, really helpful to me. He did that for me for like a year. He came to London like 2 or 3 times during that time. So I met him in person a bunch of times, and his girlfriend. But like during that time, he was probably the most helpful to me in terms of like starting and finishing this album. So like for always, shout out to Matt Martians, because
shout out to Matt Martians.
He was damn near my dad for like a year, man.
Yeah, spiritual daddy. All right, because of him, he finished this albums, and this album contains a lot of like also very like how I say interesting elements. Because I'm saying this because of SCR perspective, because I saw you came to SCR last year, and then you made a new connections throughout SCR, and then eventually you put the friends you met in here onto your album cover, which is I think is a very amazing thing. And also your music videos and everything. Speaking of music video, let's watch your music video, Alien.
Yeah, sounds
all right.
So baby girl, just take a seat and let's go on a space odyssey and lose concept of space and time. That's how you really feel free. So baby girl, just take a seat and let's go on a space odyssey and lose concept of space and time. That's how you really feel free. Take a puff and pass, then roll with me. You'll find that all your stars align. Oh, as we cruise through the universe like aliens. Baby, let's not pretend that we're sober, 'cause we're high in the spaceship cruising through the sky like aliens. Ooh, like aliens. Ooh, yeah. Don't even know how much time has passed. But who cares that I was asked? Take a puff and pass, then roll with me. You'll find that all your stars align. Oh, as we cruise through the universe like aliens. Baby, let's not pretend that we're sober, 'cause we're high in the spaceship cruising through the sky like aliens. Ooh, like aliens. Ooh, yeah.
All right. Okay. So yeah, there was ROMderful's new music videos, and I hope you too find it on YouTube, and which is this is a very nice music video. I can tell, and there are a bunch of his tracks that I want to present, but I think time's up now. So yeah. But if you want to listen to his music, it's on Spotify and everywhere, right?
It's
Every,
on everywhere:
platforms.
Spotify, Melon, Apple Music,
Melon.
KK Bucks if you're in Indonesia or Taiwan. It's literally on every streaming platform in the entire world. Are distributed with the Orchard. So shout out the Orchard for distributing everything to everywhere.
Cool.
You are the best. But for anything that's not on the streaming platforms, you can find me on SoundCloud, and all my edits and remixes and all my selection stuff from the past is all on my SoundCloud.
And also, you're gonna press your vinyl on with this your new album, right?
Vinyls and CDs.
Vinyls and CDs.
So the CDs will be like a special surprise. I'm not really gonna speak about that until I can show them. But I think everyone will be surprised by them and not surprised at the same time, because it's something that's very me. But I think you will really, really like them, and I think the CDs will probably sell more than the vinyls, to be quite honest, once you
Alright.
see how I present them. But I'm not gonna say anything else. But like, they are really, really cool.
All right, yeah. Check his upcoming releases, and also you're thinking of making a new album as well with the featuring from Korean artist only, right?
I am, yes.
Yeah. Can you? Can I talk
Yeah,
about this?
of,
Yeah,
of
okay,
course,
yeah.
of course.
Can you tell us
So,
more about it?
So like, obviously, I have decided to make Korea my home. Korea has shown me so much love and support in the past 4 to 6 years. I don't know how long
Yep.
it's been since I've been coming to Korea, but it's been at least 4 or 5 years at this point. I just love being here. I love the support that I get, the love that I get, like how much it supports my life and my career. And I've connected with so many Korean artists over the past like 3 to 4 years. And obviously I am learning Korean as well. My Korean is like, I speak Korean like a 3-year-old. Like, I'm really basic Korean, but like I'm at the point.
Still better than a lot of people in Korea. So.
I am actively learning Korean on a daily basis, but I am still very, very
잘하고
basic
있어.
in Korean.
잘하고 있어.
But yeah, I'm trying my best to learn a lot of Korean. But I wanted to make a project that's like just only released in Korea, dedicated to Korea, and I'm producing for only Korean artists. So there are a lot of your favorite artists on there. I'm not gonna tell you who's on there,
Yeah.
but a lot of your favorite Korean artists who people do stream quite a lot, people who do listen to a lot. You will probably find them on this EP, and I think it's gonna be quite special. So look out for that later this year or early next year, depending on when we finish it. But it's gonna be really special.
Yeah, stay tuned. Tunes. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, plural. Stay tuned. All right, man. It was nice to have you here.
Thanks for
There was-
inviting me, man.
There was some of stuff you're talking was just really deep,
Hmm.
like reality shit.
I'm
like
I'm
that.
just really big on being honest because the thing is with me, I don't really hide anything. It's just more of a fact of whether you ask me or not. Like I'm not gonna just randomly speak about it for no reason. But if you ask me about something, then I will happily tell you. But since this was the opportunity to speak about where my album was influenced from and what I went through in the past 2 or 3 years, it just kind of felt relevant to bring it up for the
Yeah.
moment. But yeah, I'm happy I spoke about it. I'm happy that you know where the album ideas come from, and hopefully it will make the album make more sense to you when you listen to it from start to
Mm.
finish as to why it started and ended.
Yeah,
the way
that's
it
the
did.
joy of listening to album. When you know more backgrounds, infos, then
Mm,
sounds becomes more meaningful to you. So yeah.
100%.
All right. Thank you for being in SCR today, as always.
고마워요.
고마워요. Yeah. All right.
잘했어, 볼거다.
잘했어, 롬.
네.